Hi guys, it's George Hewitt here. Welcome to the Supercoach Swordplay podcast.
In pick 16, Brisbane Lions have selected Darcy Wilmot from Bulldogs. Try that again.
Jeez, I love you blokes.
G'day, guys, and welcome to the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. You're on with me, Janath, and the band is back together. Look at us. We got the quartet of DR, Rossco, Spillsy, and I. We're here for Season 6, Episode 2. I was just thinking before Season 6, that sounds unreal. We're on the way to a decade together, boys. But firstly, we'll go around and ask, how are we? How have our off-seasons been? Start with you, Spillsy. Haven't heard from you in a while. How you going, mate?
Yeah, really well. I can't remember the last time I was this excited for football to be back. Supercoach in particular, last year was pretty harsh rookie-wise, and yeah, it's just good to have a bit of a reset. And I think I've put in the most amount of homework behind the scenes into my side, and yeah, I've done everything I possibly can. So yeah, I've been pretty itchy to get back talking with you boys, and yeah, big on Monday nights from now on. So yeah, I'm absolutely pumped and. Yeah, it's good to be back. What about you boys? How have you been, Janath? Good to be back here.
Yeah, good mate. Very, very keen for the footy. In fact, we're that keen for the footy. We attended a preseason game, Rossco and I, so that tells us how much we are keen for it. Rossco, how are you? I saw you last week, but give the viewers an insight into your sort of thinking.
Yeah, look, I'm going to get it started with the first snipe of the season. I'm that keen for the footy to be back. I willingly went to Icon Park.
Bang!
And, huge. It was good. It was good to get up nice and close and see some potential picks in person. Saints have come out this preseason and become premiers almost of the preseason, which is a good start. But we need to turn it into something real in the season.
Yeah, mate, you played the Dons. What a way. Not much chop, you know.
Well, things are looking up. We did lose last year in the preseason, so, that's a sign. But yeah, doing a bit of game day squad shopping, getting ready for round 0 on there. Hopefully I've built the winning formula for Supercoach. We'll have to wait and see about that. We've got some team reveal news coming up a bit later on as well. So very exciting times.
And DR, mate, we didn't get to catch you at the footy on Wednesday night, but how are you going?
Yeah, there was a little bit of carnage there, mate. Little bit of carnage, but been very, very busy. Lucky enough to spend a day with the boys at the Herald Sun offices up at the boardroom, very exclusive boardroom there. Spent a couple of hours doing a live draft, then lucky enough to jump on the potty as well. So really, really good experience there. And you know what? Rossco seemed pretty confident there, but I reckon I've cracked the code, Janath. I reckon I've cracked the code. A lot of extra pressure on me this year with that terrible headshot, but I'm as confident as I've been or as settled as I've been this far out from round 1 in a very, very long time. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm just not stressed at the moment. I'm in a good state of Supercoach mind.
Now, before we do get on into the podcast, we do need to, on behalf of the boys here, a big congratulations to you, mate. Officially a Supercoach expert on the Herald Sun website. You're going to be doing articles for them, getting invited to the corporate suites, getting invited to the drafts on the official potty. Don't forget us. But
got a plus one for me,
in all seriousness, on behalf of all of our subscribers, our long-time listeners, and us three as fellow co-host, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, kudos,
you are too kind. And please keep in mind, and this, I don't want to have to give a drive-by because I did actually walk past the man and say good day, literally no jokes on the way out. But John Ralph is also an expert. So sorry, Johnny. Please, with the expert tag, I do not consider myself an expert whatsoever, but it is very, very humbling at the same time. The best thing, in all seriousness, is the fact that I hate only being able to get into 20 leagues. I always have to knock back some awesome invitations. So, yeah, it can be unlimited, but I can only see the 20 still. So it's not like I've got 2,000 leagues that come up on the screen. I can only see my 20. So other people are going to have to let me know how they're actually going against me in some of these other leagues, because I won't be too sure. But no, thank you, boys. Very, very kind, and a reflection on all of our great work, I think.
And so if you do want to get DI into your league, just head on over to the Supercoach website, and I think you can just add him in as an expert if you've got some spare spots. Now, look, the season guide has been an absolute hit once again. We've sold over 150 copies off our Swordplay season guide. If you haven't got yours yet, it's still not too late. Use our code Swordplay to get 10% off. And there's so much in there, especially from a Supercoach perspective, obviously going through line-by-line analysis, the team analysis as well, but the bonus game day squad guide, that's where the money's at as well. Rossco's done a great job in bringing that together with some other collaborators as well. And remember, you get $20 worth of free packs for buying a guide for $20, let alone all the content that you can get out of this guide. So it's a win-win situation. And there's a couple of bundles we put together, a bit cheap if you buy them together with the rugby jumper and the season guide, as well as the rugby, as well as the beanie with the season guide as well. And we do have our open league code now, 581479. We have over 300 members into that already. Free entry.
That's nuts.
And we're going to give away some prizes. Now, with DR working over at Supercoach HQ, perhaps we can bump up some of these prizes as well. He's not going to be able to live it down now, so
I shouldn't have.
581479. And DR, do you just want to chat very quickly about your cash leagues that you have going?
2 spots available in this one, so I thought I'd quickly chuck it up here. A $200 head-to-head charity league. So if you are interested, email me, please, ASAP, supercoachwithdr@outlook.com. There are 2 spots for that one. Obviously, unlimited with our $50 league. So this is a $50 open league. I think at the moment it's close to 30. So the more the merrier, the bigger the prize pool will be. But feel free to contact me same way there. As well as the prison league, this one's only $10, free to channel members. A bit of a fun concept. It's not your traditional Supercoach. Uses a bit of a different template, but I think we're up to about 35 members for that one. So the more the merrier, mate, but plenty of leagues to get involved with. Excited. We're not too far away.
Yeah. So just very quickly on this one, you're all playing for third because DI and Rossco have clearly put their foot into the ground and said that they're going to take our first and second, obviously. But
That's right.
In all jest, make sure to join up into those leagues if you haven't already. I haven't forgot us, Spillsy. We're here. It's right. Form is temporary, class is permanent, mate. That's how it is. This is an interesting view. We're all top of the pod at the moment. Nothing has changed. It'll be this way next week as well, I guess. So we'll see how.
It's the first time I've ever been top of the pod.
I think it's the first time any of you have been top of the pod.
Yeah, I know. Janath just lives up there. He sleeps at the top of the pod. That's his bed. It's like bunk beds. And he's just always at the top. Like, yeah.
No. Well, I want to say hopefully it'll change, but at the same time I don't because it's let's move forward. Let's move forward. Now, D, I'm not sure how you've somehow concocted a rant out of preseason games, but please go on ahead with your first rant for the year.
It's the fact that we do. Come on, boys. I've said this so many times before. It's going to be a 20-second rant. But come on, let's just make this simple. When it gets to the mid-stage of the season, give every team a bye. It's all equal. We haven't got teams not playing round 0, playing the next week. It's ridiculous. It stuffs up our Supercoach side. Like Rossco said pre-pod, I always want to start with Sinclair and Naz in the same team, but I can't because of this stupid opening round. So it's a very quick rant, but why not just keep it simple? One bye, give us all a week off football and just call it a day. So quick rant, but I just hate this opening round nonsense. My opinion, but yeah, quick rant.
Now, there is one thing that the opening round is good for, and that's giving us a second view into some of these players. Before we jump into sort of the game-by-game analysis from the preseason, Spillsy, your first tweet of the week.
It's back. It's back. And boys, how hard is it? Like, I'm not the most creative bloke going around, and I do struggle finding like what I've just been called Spillsies, or I think it was like Spills Lethals for a while, which is like fine, but it's not too exciting. So yeah, I posted a bit of a tweet here. Most liked comment would be my new Supercoach team name, and James commented golden shower. That was pretty comfortably the most liked tweet on the post. So that's what I'm running with at the moment. There are a few other really good ones. I really liked Rayman's Spillum Dersmers. That was a good one. He's and he's a regular of us as well. So that was hard to ignore. But golden shower was the most liked comment. So that's what we are running with at the moment. We'll see what happens. But
Spillsy, I've only got one issue. There's only a slight issue, right? Apart from the ex-graphic nature of this, and we're meant to be a family podcast, you go on the golden shower. I'll let that slide. I don't know about this bloke. I think there was a comment there that you sent me through. Can you get DR to unblock me? We've had some interesting conversations.
I did see it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I did read it. I saw a bit of a tea. You love the tea?
Yeah. No, I won't say knobhead. I won't say that. I'll let it slide through. But Janath, this is our friend when we were doing the podcast last year, how we had our rankings, our must-have rankings. Yeah. We had a man by the name of Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera there. And this man took great exception to that. Great exception. No way in the world is he a must-have. Don't know what the results of that were. We might have to recheck the averages from last year post-buy.
I think he was a bust, honestly.
I think DR's just had his second rant for the year.
Biggest
it was pretty dangerous leaving your team name up in the hands. I think you've got away with it with Golden Shower, to be fair. Let's just keep it as is.
One. I like the Dersma one. Yeah.
Boys, I think we're now into the meat of the podcast. And when we think about 9 games now, I did have to go through and ask what games you boys did watch, and we have covered all the games across the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to firstly head on over to footyscores.net. But before we do that, I just want to give a very quick shout out to AFL SC 360. The boys over there have been doing an amazing job covering Supercoach. Benny in particular has been doing an amazing job getting former winners on board, JP, Jovan, Blake, even getting us on board. We got a league going as well. I don't know, I'm a bit humbled to be in this group with you, DR, as well. But they've been doing a great job. They're going to be putting out a lot of content this year. So if you haven't already, go check out AFL SC 360 on Twitter. And with that, let's head on over to footyscores.net, which I think is one of the best up-and-coming footy websites going around. And the reason being is you can see everything. This looks a bit like fan footy, which is what I've used in years gone by. But let me just bring this up, right? So I'm not sure. You can see Sam Walsh there. I go to Supercoach, and I can see his stat timeline from quarter 1 all the way through to the final quarter. And it shows exactly what happened at a certain point, what got added, what got subtracted, all of that. So that's just one of the beauties of having something like Footy Scores. But let me get rid of this and let's go through Blues and Geelong. So, Rossco, you were there. Before we go through certain players, who stood out to you most and why?
Most? Well, I mean, it's a pretty obvious answer, but Jagger Smith, I mean, he had the Blues fans in raptures. I heard people behind me saying he's going to be better than Dacos. He's, rising star winner already. No, he was very impressive. He was everywhere. Pretty sure, Janath, you actually said to me about 15 times in my ear, take him off. You didn't want to see him.
I didn't want to see him.
Because on ground. And he did very well. So, there was definitely that, I would say. He was the standout man. But unfortunately, he's in 80% of teams. If you're in the 20% of teams that don't have him, put him in. But there's no real unique meat on the bone there. Everyone will probably have him and be trading him around the same time, I think.
Yeah. That means 20% of the comp are burner accounts. That's just to set it straight. Janath, is he going to get the first ever player to cop a tag in his
debut game?
Like, is Jordan going to go to him? Like, honestly,
I think he'll go to Walsh. I just think that Jordan's
Nah.
gone to Walsh in the past. But Jagger, mate, he is unreal. Like,
He's so
Rossco,
bloody
I know
good.
I was telling you to take him off the ground because he got injured in the preseason last year. I'm like, oh, please, just get through this game. Like, but we got a midfielder that can kick now. Like, it's pretty surreal. Now, look, we'll talk about some other players because I could go and talk about Jagger Smith for an hour on this podcast and not stop there. But Sam Walsh now did come off the ground injured early, and I was telling you, Rossco, I was like, oh, here we go, 8-year contract up in air. But then the fourth quarter turns it on, kicks what could have been goal of the year if it was an actual game, but he looked unreal. He covered the ground really well. You can see there the kick to handball ratios mentioned with MJ on the coaches panel is still a concern, going at that 1-to-2 ratio kicks to handballs, but the contested possessions are there. He only had 68% time on ground, but he looked really good. Now, Spillsy, D, I know you didn't watch the game, but Rossco, watching that game live, how do you think that Walsh is a genuine option that you could be considering in that 550K bracket?
Yeah, look, I think he definitely adds some value, being not priced the same as some of the top liners. If you trust his body and his form, we know he can score very well. For me personally, I just think in terms of buy structure, I'm probably willing to maybe pass for now. I'm not too sure how similar priced he is to Errol Goulden.
About
probably not
40K cheaper. 40K cheaper.
40K cheaper than Goulden. Okay, 520 actually does kind of twist my arm a little bit.
Oh, sorry, is Goulden 560? So then, 25K cheap. He's 560.
Okay. Yeah, so there's not that much difference between those two. And I think I'd probably back Errol to average a bit more over the course of the season. But then again, I think prior to watching this game, I would have knocked anyone who sort of said Walsh was a serious option. But then watching that, it's a realistic possibility that it could be scary not owning him.
Yeah. And going ahead to a different premium option, Maxi Holmes, how did you find his game?
Look, I think he did enough. Geelong weren't particularly great, and obviously no Bailey Smith. Their midfield, they sort of had Dempsey running through there, Atkins. Warpool wasn't really that impressive to me. So I think Max Holmes will probably average around the same as he did. I mean, he might improve on that a couple of ticks with, natural development, that sort of thing. But he did enough. If you were going to pick him, he didn't do anything that should suggest that you shouldn't pick him, I think.
Yeah. Now, DR and Spillsy, there was a player that played the first half off of halfback and inserted himself into the midfield. He's in the 250K bracket. Do you guys know who I'm referring to?
We do.
I think
and
I
who
do.
Made that player be?
Tanner Fingers Bruhn.
Tanner Fingers Bruhn it is. So he JP, former winner 2022, Rossco and I, we were watching in that first quarter and he was everywhere. As in he was shouting for the ball. You could inaudibly hear his cries for the ball. And Geelong were giving him the ball. I think Humphreys and Bruhn are going to be their main distributors back there. But seeing him going into the midfield was a bit interesting, whether it was the absence of Bailey Smith. But this is the beauty of round zero. Now, no, DR, you were mentioning that get rid of this for the buys. For the buys' sake, yes. But getting an extra look into a player like this in a full strength side, basically the structure you're going to play is so optimal. So we'll get to this, DR, but Spillsy as well. What do you need to see from Tanner Bruhn in this game, in round zero, coming up against Brisbane to suggest, he's a player?
I want a better split, Janath. I want more halfback. I don't want any midfield. What's his kicking tally look like? How many kickings is he getting a game? Chris Scott's his coach. Just loves his magnets. Plays the team. There's like 5 blokes who have a core role, and everyone else can just go wherever, whenever they need him, whenever they need him to. So, I don't know. I really need another look at this. I'd be much more comfortable going down to a rookie and then getting sort of like a low price premium to a full blown uber premium. I'm a bit more guns and rookies orientated at the moment. So for me to pick Tanner would be like an absolute miracle. So I'd have to see a lot go right in round zero, but he looks good. That first quarter was insane. Didn't see it. I had footy training, but I checked my phone. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But then I watched the second half and did fade out a little bit when he played
Yeah.
midfield for some unknown reason, and it is the unknown. And
Yeah.
like DR, maybe a bit of PTSD. I remember 2023, and he was there. He was there in the midfield,
Yeah.
300 and I think 10K
Yeah,
or
but he
something like
wasn't.
that.
I think it was cheaper,
that-
wasn't he? Yeah.
Well, yeah, he might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
He was a full mid-pricer, and I just thought,
Yeah.
midfield's going to go
Yeah.
up, and his tog was so ordinary. What's his tank look like? I just need to see a little bit more, I think, and I don't like these shares to buy with Dacos as well. I think that's pretty easy to avoid if you can. Yeah, I don't know. At the moment, he's not in, but yeah, that could change round zero. That's the beauty of round zero, Janath, as you alluded to.
DR, is there anything that you differ from Spillsy there?
Look, he would have to go really, really big next week for me to get him in. It would be purely because, and again, your first score is the first one to go out of the system, but almost a bit of a guarantee with a nice, quick, rapid cash rise. To answer your first question, what do you got to see? I'll be honest, I've got to see a couple of weeks of it. I've got a bit of a plan up my sleeve. To not get trapped this year. I'm not starting with any of the Bruhns or Windsors, none of these types for now. And I've got a bit of a way of changing things around if I need to. So to be honest with you, mate, just know, more of an outside player. I'm really worried about outside players in preseason games. I think they're the type of fool's gold picks that we can see. Look, the man will be very, very hungry after not playing any footy last year. But yeah, for me, it's just too much of a risk. And I'd rather wait and be absolutely confident rather than half confident. Just my opinion, though.
Agree on those points, boys. And I think we'll get a really good look in round zero. Now, Rossco, there were 4 rookies in this matchup that we haven't touched on yet that I just want you to rank 1 through 4 in terms of their viability. I know they play different lines, but Wade Dirksen is a 99K rookie. Liam Reedy is obviously the 119K ruck forward. Jay Polkinghorne as a Geelong key forward, and Mitch Edwards is sort of their, I don't know whether it's their starting ruck, their backup ruck, even a ruck at all at Geelong. How would you rank those through 1 to 4 as a combination of scoring potential and job security?
Well, I think the 2 Carlton boys are in front of the 2 Geelong boys to start.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am curious to get your thoughts whether you think that Dirksen has a spot back there, because I know there was no Wiedering. I don't know how long he's out for. No Haynes, no Newman. I know that's probably sort of different positions, but that's still 3 that have got to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're guaranteed to know that Dirksen holds his spot at 99K, he's probably the number 1 for me, because he's cheap enough that he can just sort of tick along. He doesn't have to do anything special. If he scores 80s every week, that's great, but he doesn't have to do that. He just has to tick along and get to 200, 250K to be a good pick for us all. I think Reedy probably did enough. I know our good friend Scobes was very concerned that he needed 7 tackles to get up to 58. And not sure if he can do that every week, but I think he can win more of the ball. If he gets a bit of a better split, perhaps overtakes Pitnet, then it'll be worth it in the long run. I think Polkinghorne and Edwards are actually probably not nailed to start round 0 even. Maybe Polkinghorne slightly ahead. But then once Jez is ready, I think Polkinghorne probably goes out. So I'd probably put Edwards ahead, even though I don't like his job security either. But a ruck is probably better than a key forward.
Yeah, I reckon Dirksen, to answer your question, mate. So Lewis Young probably goes out first for Wiedering. Haynes is around 4, I think, come back in. But I don't think he is a straight up starter if Dirksen comes out of the blocks okay. And this isn't basically confirmation to say, I'm going to start Wade Dirksen. I still think there is a chat that needs to be had. He looked good with ball when foot, and we can see that his disposal efficiency was 89% actually, which is very, very solid in 88% time on ground. And then Mitch McGovern was a bit so-and-so. I think he's the one that goes out for the Newman type when he comes in. So it's a bit to play out there. Reedy, I agree with some that say he didn't impress, and I agree with you that he's probably the best option to go at R3 if you're not going Nathan McAndrew at R2, just in the standard R1, R2, and McAndrew at the flex situation. Mitch Edwards actually had 7 hitouts to advantage of 20 hitouts, and he was the leading ruckman for Geelong, which is, I didn't really see it, but perhaps now with Shannon Neal doing his PCL, Mitch Edwards or Polkinghorne may debut, and we may have a rookie on your hands from the Cats there. But boys, is there anything else you want to touch on from the Blues Cats game before we move on?
I think the ranking's pretty good. I'd definitely agree with the order, like Polkinghorne, Edwards. I think Edwards is a bit of a sniff. And with Reedy, I don't necessarily think he's that good of a pick, but I also think that Pitt needs the ruck support. So I reckon it favours him a little bit. So I think the scores will come with Reedy. I know he's not necessarily he hasn't really necessarily shown much in the past, but I just think Carlton need him. TDK, Janath, that's such a big loss for you guys. Someone's got to fill that void, and I just don't think Pidnet can do it alone. So I think they have to play him, and Dirksen as well. You can't not get 8 marks and not play. He looked good. I really liked Dirksen. Super impressive. Yeah, he's on. I think he's on my bench at the moment. So I'm running Dirksen at the moment. Super confident, even with his job security. I reckon he did a lot. So it might be.
I just got one thing to add. I reckon, the person who I think on X was most excited about that Sam Walsh contract, Rossco down here. That was an absolute classic. He was just waiting for that. After copping it about this TDK, Roscoe's just loaded up and just gone bang.
He got all the Carlton bait as well.
Didn't he?
The Carlton bait
came
came
so badly, and they just came at him. It was gold. That was so good.
Sort of hoping that would sort of blow by with the wind. But anyway, here we
Carlton
are.
St Kilda's going to be like the new Carlton Collingwood. That Carlton Collingwood, no one cares about that. It's Carlton St Kilda now.
Big rival.
Mate, nobody has a rivalry with St Kilda. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real.
When you count premierships, maybe.
Maybe Freo has a rivalry with Freo has a rivalry with St Kilda. Who can win a premiership in the? I can't say 21st century either. We haven't won one in the 21st century either.
I'm going to sit back in this one. I got nothing to say as a Dons man.
Yeah,
so
still,
I'm not in this conversation anymore.
All right. Let's regain our composure and go on to Swans Giants, which I think we're going to touch on some players very quickly. But this game was as much of a write-off as possible, and the reason why I say that is, they're both going to play opening round. The game was pissing down rain. There really wasn't much to take out of it. Now, Spillsy, you did watch it. I just want your take on a couple of players. And we'll start off with the Giants in terms of Lockie Whitfield played a half. Ash played the full game. So there's going to be a discrepancy there. I'm not too worried about that. Can you give us your sort of take on Toby Greene and Harry Rouston as the players have stepped up into that Giants midfield?
I think Green's by far in front. Rouston, I don't think he did enough for his price where Greene, you sort of got what you wanted. But the problem is you sort of wish that was flipped around. I mean, there wouldn't be many sides considering Toby Greene. So it is a little bit frustrating. So it kind of doesn't mean anything, that one. I'll probably watch. I didn't see the first. I saw halfway through the second quarter because I was working. But yeah, I'd watched the rest of the game, and yeah, it was an absolute write-off, Janath. It was hard to tell in the midfield. I think Toby Greene was by far the main man, but yeah, the Giants are going to struggle a lot in the midfield. They loved giving it to Ash. He had a lot of the ball. Look at the kick to handball ratio, which is just insane. I don't think Lockie Whitfield really impacts him. I think Ash is next up. I did peg Ash ahead of Whitfield in the player head-to-head, so yeah, definitely rate him. And who were
Nick Madden? What was your take on Madden as a ruck option?
Yeah, he's solid. I just reckon there's other options around. It's a pretty, I don't know his price off by
325k. He's 325k. So it's not your McAndrew.
That is awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, but I reckon
I think a common rule with the rucks is, like for me anyway, it's either set and forget or you're running McAndrew at R2. I just reckon there's way too much risk and there's better options. But yeah, he was the main man. I think Briggs didn't play, did he? No, can't remember seeing.
No, they dropped him late.
He was a late out.
Yeah. So he might be one where he play in the previous practice match? So
he did,
and looks pretty good. So yeah, 300k for someone who's sharing the ruck load. Yeah, not for me. But yeah.
Awesome.
there's not much to take
Couple
out
of
of this
talking
game.
points. Yeah. Very quickly, Spillsy, I was just going to say, lead you into the Swans there. Couple of talking points there in terms of their midfield. So Grundy, Heaney, Goulden. Goulden went off after the first quarter with an ankle injury. They do say it's precautionary, but what do you say to coaches looking to start Brodie Grundy based off of this game?
I think he ticked all the boxes. You got what you wanted. 115 is pretty good. That's what you want. We don't have high expectations for the rucks, and I think Grundy's one where he's really going to benefit the new rules. He can win his own ball. He's shown that he can hit the scoreboard, and like we all saw what he did last year. But I guess there's that slight elephant in the room. Well, not only the price tag, but that crucial round 3 buy as well. And a lot of sides running English. Like, can you really? How many of these guys can you have? I'm pretty scared to pick English or Grundy because of that buy. I think there's a lot of really other important picks around the side that you'd prioritize instead. So I think the buy is a huge factor here, and I just can't bring myself to do it personally. But if you're looking at Grundy as a ruck, just in terms of ruck in general, and does he benefit the new rules? I think he does. He looked really good for what it was worth in the conditions. He dominated, and he gave it to Nick Madden. But so I'd like to see what he can do with the new rules against a Tristan Sherry type. But he ticked all the boxes. And if you're looking to pick Grundy, then you got what you wanted. But I do want to see it again. And the buy, I can't. It's tough. I think I'd rather English for the price ahead of Grundy, so it just makes it that little bit awkward. But if we're not considering the buyers, possibly a set and forget. So, Broads look good.
And the midfielders look good for the Swannies. Heaney and Sheldrick in particular looked really good. You can see Sheldrick there, 31 touches, 12 contested possessions. He had 12 clangers to go with it, which really bumps down his Supercoach scoring. But as a breakout option, I think he could be one that maybe is more for draft option. Heaney looks incredible though. And I think the addition of Charlie Curnow into this forward line gives them such a dynamic that they could afford to play Heaney a little bit more forward to get that second sort of key defender to take him. And then the one there, as we mentioned with Goulden, wait and see. But with both these teams playing round 0, Swannies against my Blue Baggers on Thursday night in the opening game, the Giants against Hawthorn in the elimination grudge match rematch there, I guess we'll get a really good inkling, especially for some of these players that we're going to talk about in the key questions we want answered in round 0. So, Rossco, Dia, anything you want to touch on here? Or shall we move on to the next game?
Just one thing, just very quickly. There's one player that's really standing out here to me that I've honestly never really seriously considered, and it's a man up the top there for the Giants, Toby Greene. Now, what I'm just looking at here is his TOG, which is only 69%. 54% disposal efficiency. So we're looking at lows. We're looking at 2 floors there. He's 441,400. 4% owned. We know when this man actually plays in the midfield, he can rack up the ball. We've seen it when he's actually rolled through there. It hasn't been for a long time. He played against a decent midfield. I know that Errol was obviously out for a fair bit of the game, but the Swans, the rest of the guys there, Heaney, Warners, they're no mugs. He did have 8 tackles. So I think that's, if you look at his stat line, probably the ceiling that you say, look, we don't know if he can go there every week. But everything else in that stat line, 26 touches, led the way for contested along with Oliver. I think that's achievable from most weeks. And then you look at that TOG and disposal efficiency, I think there's even more upside there. So that really does interest me looking at that stat line. I don't know how long they plan for him to be in there. And I think the risk is that he's an all-Australian forward, one of the best forwards in the comp, that, hey, you just shift back there, Tobster. But if you could guarantee me that he gets a very, very solid chunk in that midfield, I'll tell you what, at 4%, he's a type of pod that I would be very keen to have a look at. The issue is with Sheezel, Petrarca, and Flanders, it almost seems like the Toby Greenes are null and void because there's 3 really obvious options there. But I tell you what, if you've got him in your side after looking at this stat sheet, I didn't watch the game, there's meat on the bone here in that role.
Meat on the bone.
I hate to bring it back to the buyers again. The buyers, boys, he's a great pick. I'd love to see if he consists of this role after his buy, because starting him, I think there's plenty of meat on the bones, DR. But you've got Phillippo and Flanders in there, and that's sort of the reason why this game was a bit of a write-off for me, because the only ones that really interest me from the Giants are the defenders, who obviously they share with Sinclair and Nas, and then for Sydney, they've got that round 3 bye. So it was really hard to like.
I think one thing that I took out a lot from the GOAT series is just how much, especially Blake and Jovan, given they sort of started playing after round 0 came in, is just how much they didn't really care about the early buys, knowing that they can field the best 18 side. So yes and no. And a great point that was sort of raised last year is there's only how many? There's only 6 teams on the buy last year that had an early buy, given Essendon and Gold Coast and Brisbane game got 4 teams, Brisbane and Geelong, but there was 6 teams that were on the bye, but you weren't going to start Gold Coast and Essendon players. So let's say you had 4 players on the bye last year. This year you're going to have 10 players on the bye. So it's much harder to actually avoid the bye players. So if you multiply the amount of bye players that you had this time last year, there was 4, multiplied by 2.5, which is the amount of teams extra now that you have on the bye. It actually
I think another thing
much
that
more
makes
difficult to avoid just bye players because you're not going to pick an optimal team if you go that way. So that's just the take which I have regarding that one. Rossco, do you have anything before we want to get on to Giants and Brisbane? Gold Coast and Brisbane?
Nah, look, wet weather footy, we get a good look in round 0, and I'm keen to watch again.
Exactly.
Just want to add to your point quickly, Janath. Like another thing to take out of the buys too is the sides that don't have the early buys they're all arguably bottom 4 teams, like North, Richmond, West Coast, Essendon, Melbourne, Port. Like it's tough. Like Freo are the only real solid,
Freo and Adelaide,
Adelaide have a really bad bye mid-season. Don't like it. Round 12. That's a harsh one. We'll touch on that.
It's a great point you raised, Spills. Like there's not many teams that have good buys across the board. GWS have 2 good buys, but the first one tricky because all their relevant players share buys with common players in their same line, in the forward line and the defense. So going to be tricky there. DR, we'll go straight to you for this one because you watched this one in its totality. I watched a little bit of it, but in terms of the players that we sort of had on our watch list, I guess you know what you got from Josh Dunkley, Will Ashcroft, these types, Christian Petrarca, those 3 premiums. Did anything change in your outlook on any of them by watching this game?
Nah, look, what I will say, Charlie Cameron came straight in my side after that 134. Charlie F1 for the year, if you don't mind. Look, you take certain things here with a grain of salt. It's more where a player's playing. We had so many big names out of this team. I think we had 10 first choice players or something close to that. First choice is very subjective, I suppose, with our side at the moment. But yeah, not a lot. Look, we'll start with maybe someone like a Noah Anderson, for example. Now, he started the first, I reckon, minute and a half on fire, this bloke. A lovely 1-2, long-range goal, set up another goal. And I actually thought, slow down, Noah, because I've been pretty big on Noah for a lot of the preseason. And he must have listened to me because he absolutely slowed down. Now, you never say that players don't try, but as someone like Anderson, for example, given the fact that he finished on, 65 points, that's not enough for me to say, terrible preseason game. He's out for me. I saw what he could do just in that minute and a half when he was absolutely on. So I don't get too concerned and I don't overreact with these type of things. The other bloke I want to touch on here in regards to the Gold Coast is probably the player that impressed me the most in this game. And it may sound a little bit funny because if you look at the score there, and the man I'm talking about, trying to find him, how much did he score?
Are you talking about
in the end?
Leo
Lombard. 78 Supercoach points. But this bloke, he is elite. He's an elite talent. Everything he touched absolutely turned to gold. He hit the scoreboard on multiple occasions. There was one stage where he had a little 1-2, gave a little dummy, check side. It was just phenomenal. His skills on show, but it was also his footy IQ. And what I love about Lombard, we know he's not going to be spending any major minutes through the midfield, but as that half forward, he's clever enough to come up to the ground and just use the football well. So he doesn't need a lot of it to actually make a big impact. So that's why I think his job security is fantastic at the moment. And I'd much rather be selecting someone like a Lombard over someone like a Zeke Hewland, who for me pretty much said to me, no, I'm not worth the price. He needed to really play well, and it's not all about the scoring. Yeah, he just needed to show a little bit more. And hey, he did some little things that really impressed me. There was like a really nice bullet pass to track in the middle of the ground. So we showed off his skills at times, and this bloke's having a future. But when we're comparing him to some of the other options that we've got at your 119 up to your 130 odd K, your Doveston prices, I just don't think he's worth the cash. And that's no disrespect to him. Could be a pick. He'll make some money, but I'm choosing to go more bargain basement price, I think, there. Going down the list, Took Miller, I thought he actually had a pretty decent game, very damaging up forward, lots of scoring assists. Don't know how much midfield time he'll play, but I don't really think, again, he's a pick. He might be a nice Supercoach draft option, maybe a little bit later on down the board. Anyone else there? Jamara?
Newland versus Annabelle? Oh, sorry. Newland versus Annabelle. Would you go either? Would you go neither? Would you go both?
Neither. No, I don't think Animal's going to. He was the emergency here. He didn't even play Dan Animal.
I didn't even play, yeah.
Scrap Animal off your list. Like, if they were interested in Dan Animal, in my humble opinion, I could be completely wrong, maybe need to rest, but if you were really keen for him to play, this was your dress rehearsal, I think, for that. Yeah. So I'd be picking neither myself, and I wouldn't be picking Jamara. He just looked a little bit rusty, bit fumbly. He did, I think, kick a couple of goals from memory. I'm not even looking. Yeah, a couple of goals. But even with that easy run coming up, there are so many other options up forward at a cheaper price, 140K and under, that I'd much rather go with. So just a little bit too fumbly for mine. Probably to Brisbane now, Zach Bailey. I tell you what, wow. He could be a pod option. And again, the buy isn't the really bad buy. I think we share that with Collingwood, don't we, Spillsy? The Lions. I don't think that's
Collingwood, Geelong, Carlton. It's pretty tame, really. Mostly just Dacos and Jagger, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you can navigate that. So, look, Bailey, anywhere he plays, is super dangerous. And if he could get straight, man, this guy could go to the moon. But if you are looking at him and you are half interested after seeing this performance, you'd probably be even keener. But I'm not quite going there yet myself. Chalky Neal just turned the clock back, really. I had a few concerns about his tog and maybe his commitment to the game after what had happened, but he's just got tunnel vision for a three-peat at the moment. And I think that age is probably the only thing that's going to slow him down. At his age and with his injury issues last year, I think it's a little bit risky, but huge pride if you want to go there. Dunkley, to be honest, didn't really seem like he got out of second gear. Did later on in the game, got a bit into it. And if you didn't get out of second gear and you look at that for a floor score, like, Levi Ashcroft, he's going to be a star. I think he's way too awkward for our classic teams at the moment. Huey McCluggage, what was this man's tog? It was 45%. So keep that in mind.
The boys
91 Supercoach points in
unreal.
In 45% tog, 92% disposal efficiency. He's called the Rolls Royce for a reason. And Spillsy, wink, wink. If you're interested in this man, that's exactly what you needed to see. And the only slight concern, I suppose, was that little corky, but they'd be overcautious with him. He should be fine for the opening round. And really, that would have absolutely ticked the box for me. If you're keen on Hugh, box ticked. There's nothing else you would want to see. ZZ
Kitty?
Top, does he play? Maybe. I'm not too sure. Sorry, I'm just going down the line, mate. Kitty, no for me. No for me, Kitty, I don't think. Now, the reason why I say a no is because Fags actually said pre-game, we're actually going to settle him in this match in the back line. So no forward, we're going to settle him down back. And I thought, here we go. Here's his opportunity to scream, pick me. But he just didn't do that, unfortunately. And I think he'll be a bit of a bits and pieces type fill-in when players need a rest. The price, I don't think so at the moment. And the other one's probably Lincoln McCarthy that some people are having a look at. He was playing down back for most of the preseason, but now it looks like he may be settling more up forward. So I think he's in our best side moving forward in the 23. Exactly where I'm not too sure. But we do need to probably move on at this stage, boys. So I'll leave it there. Any other questions or anything you guys want to raise?
Real quick one for you, DR. Regarding Anderson, is he still in your side currently? No, Anderson.
Yes, he is. As I said, that was not enough for him to go out of my side with premiums.
Yeah.
I need to see a major shift in role or something like that. It just
Oh,
Yeah.
no worry. Yeah, not worried about like what he scored, but the thing that worries me about Anderson, like, are you worried about like not only the bye, but also like the early Jordan tag, despite such a piss take run? Other than like the run's good, the first 2 weeks, unreal, but are you worried about like Jordan and then the bye he shares it with like you? I'm assuming you still got Bont as well. Is that alarm bells there, or just no issues at all? Like it doesn't matter.
I'm trying not to overthink it. And the other thing with Anderson, in my personal rankings, I've got him finishing as the top 6 midfielder. So given that point, it's not concerning me as much. It probably should be more Spills, but to answer your question, not really, mate.
Yeah. Awesome, lads. Rossco, do you have anything you want to add?
Look, I currently had Ashcroft in, Will Ashcroft, but I'm not super sure. I mean, he only scored 56 there, but 58% time on ground. I mean, we know what he can do. Like, he scored really well in the final series, but he sort of hasn't really put it together across a full season yet.
Yeah.
And it's just Mr. September. You pick him in Supercoach finals every year and you don't look back.
Yeah, leave it till September. Yeah, no, it should be a good pick, I think.
All right, lads, let's move on then and talk about the D's and Tigers, because this game needs a bit of context behind it. And before we jump into it, I want you boys to forget about all the Supercoach scores, because none of this will make any sense. And the reason being is this game only actually lasted for 2 and a bit quarters, because there was thunder in the area or lightning, and the game got called off about 5 minutes into the third quarter. So you can see there's big discrepancies between the AFL fantasy and the Supercoach scoring, simply because they had to scale up to 3,300 points, when in fact the game only really got to 2,100 or basically 2,000 points across the board. But what I will say is, watching this game, there are some players that really stood out. And I'll start with the Ds, because Max Gawn's silver service to his midfielders was clearly on show. And I think that Toby Greene is really going to struggle with these new rules. He can't jump. He gets back in transition as he normally has. But if he comes up against an athletic ruckman, that is going to be an automatic C, VC sort of candidate, as long as they're a competent ruckman. So Max Gawn went to work on him. He looks good with the rules. One thing that I was looking for with the ruckman is how they look covering the ground. Do they get contest to contest? Are there situations where the midfielder needs to take the ruck contest because Gawn or someone can't get there? And I just didn't see with Max Gawn. I think he looked okay. And the people that benefited were his midfielders, namely Caleb Windsor. He looks electric. And this is where the traps start to become laid, because you're playing Richmond. You've got silver service. How much of it is now? One of the words that MJ from the coaches panel loves to word is this word thread. Now, there is the thread that Caleb Windsor is an inside midfielder. He's one that they want to use moving the ball forward. But how much of the role do we trust, especially given he's shown a propensity to not be able to kick the ball effectively moving forward? So that's my concern with him. I think he's a great pick. And for whatever reason, if we don't get the rookies, there is a realistic world where you can split a play like a Colby McKercher into a Wins and a Blackiston, into a Wins and a Bruhn, into a Wins and a Harry Roust, and these types of players, if you do want to diversify your cash. So those two are there. I'll put it out to the table on the D's or Richmond game. What else sort of caught your eye in this game, boys?
Just quickly, all I want to say on Windsor is that these are the sort of players that can be real Supercoach traps. I'm worried about the Windsor types. And very quickly, I've got a bit of a bold strategy with Sam Grill. I'm thinking this is a bit of a strategy I'll talk about in the team reveal, but I've currently got Grill at flex. I'm got about 120K in my bank at the moment, and it's a strategic amount. I don't feel at the moment this 120K can do wonders for my side. So in my view, I'm happy to have, say, a Sam Grill at flex, have 120K in the bank. I'll get some real in-season data, not just a game or two, a pre-season game, work out if anyone is actually the real deal, your Blackistons, your Bruins, whoever you want to throw out there, and I'll be happy to do it that way. I'm thinking a little bit different this year rather than starting one, getting trapped and then panicking, having to go down. I'm just not confident. I'll say it right now in any of these guys at the moment. I'm just not. So I'll just put that out there from the start.
Did you say Grill there, mate, because you don't trust Grill, or because it could be anyone in the flex?
It's the price point. So the fact that he's about 170 and I've got that 120 odd, it gives me the range of all of these, 300 and below type picks, as your Blackistons, even down to a Kitty Coleman type. There's so many players around that range that I'm just not sure on. And by having Grill there with the added DPP, with that flexibility, it will just allow me to make a move to one of these lower end mid prices if I feel I really need to.
Awesome, mate. Touching on Richmond very quickly, I know that a lot of coaches sort of were looking into their rookies, in particular Sam Grill. He looks electric. There was a passage of play where he got the ball at halfback, basically zigzagged through the entire Melbourne midfield, got the ball back again, got a forward. He's locked in for round one. I can't see a reason. I've got him on field at the moment. Sam Cumming, unfortunately, injured himself. He's out for the first month of the season, so we're not going to see him there. But what that might mean is that the likes of Sam Lawler, who is playing a pure inside midfield role, and this is where in preseason you're looking for role. Now, he had 4 kicks to 11 handballs with only 1 mark and 1 tackle. Again, basically minimal game time, but 5 clearances and 9 contested possessions. Just shows how good of a Supercoach scorer he could be. I don't trust his body, and I prefer to get on him if he does break out as opposed to start with him and hope for the breakout. Do you boys have any sort of leaning either way on Sam Lawler, Rossco?
Yeah, look, I don't know if he's going to necessarily have a super coach relevant role. I mean, we sort of saw what he did last year, sort of lined up at half forward, was a good sort of link in the chain around the ground, but he never really got mass midfield minutes. I think he's probably a season away for me.
I think he's a trap this year, personally.
Yeah. Awesome. I guess there's one other player that we can touch on very quickly. Well, I want to touch on Sam Banks anyway, but he's not the player I was talking about. Sam Banks looks good. Jaden Short is the equivalent of the human cockroach, because as soon as he goes away, out of the picture, Sam Banks will go to the moon. So if Short is out for whatever reason, it is Sam Banks' backline for the taking. But a player that's backline it is for the taking was for the D's, Xavier Lindsay. Playing off of halfback, looks to be the main distributor in there. He looks really, really good. And I think, again, he's just in that awkward price range as a second-year player, has the role. Caleb Windsor going into the midfield means that he's probably going to have that role. Can you go there? I'm saying no, but if someone's got a bit more of a faint heart than I do, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted.
What's he priced at? Is he cheaper than Windsor?
Lindsay is going to be, I think, about 273. So it's in that same Sam Lawler. It's in that exact ballpark that you were mentioning, mate, with regards to Sam Grill.
That is so awkward.
And I guess the last sort of players, unfortunately, Xavier Taylor didn't play. I thought for all money, he would be part of Melbourne's best 23 plans, but didn't play against Richmond. So basically, that's one you can take off the watch list for the Melbourne Demons there. So
Rossco, for Janet, just to rule out, we're ruling out Cumming, Xavier Taylor, Latrell Pickett. We're probably ruling out at this stage.
Josh Gibcus as well. If he gets 88 in the first 3 rounds, I'd rather get him there rather than starting with him and he gets injured again and you're screwed again for the third
didn't do enough. For his injury history, you're right. He needs to come out and get a nice 80 plus and look really good. So I reckon he's off the list as well. So we've really got Grill there as the rookie selection.
Grill is the rookie.
Yep. And very quickly, I think people need to just quickly hear this. Steele and Langford, no interest, or is there still a world where anyone looks there, or just a quick no, or
assess?
No.
Not enough meat on the bones. I think you pick Steele to be a keeper almost. I mean, I don't even think he's been struggling to be top 15, 20. It's 500K. You don't really want to plan trade him over the buyers, and I think Langford is just under 400K. There is not enough meat on the bones for that. You go down to a Bruhn or Parish for me, I reckon. Yep. But it's so awkward. Awkward pricing. You can't do it.
Here's the issue with both of them. I love both of them for Melbourne, but I don't think the Melbourne's game style will love them back because they're looking to run and gun the ball, and maybe Langford can come into that mold, but still, this is not the game style for his super coach to get back to the 120 levels of years gone by. So it's probably a wait and assess, but I think they want to get the ball in the likes of Rivers, Windsor, Lindsay, Pickett. Like those are their core ball movers. And Langford is playing a bit of wing as well. So the midfield role that we thought would be there or just assume would be there just hasn't come to fruition yet. But that was probably a game which unfortunately we're going to have to take a lot out of because neither of these teams play in round 0, but there probably wasn't too much relevance there. But compared with that, the Doggies and the Hawks. Now, I put out a tweet because it was the thing that I was probably most looking at heading into this game, and that was what the Bulldogs midfield rotation would look like. Bont, Richards, Kennedy as the starting 3, Tom Liberatore coming off of half forward, and then your boy DR, Jolie Boy Fraser.
Who?
As the
Joel
fifth midfielder. Jolie Boy Fraser. As the
fifth in line.
I was upset because
Fifth in
everyone was
line.
starting to select my pod. I've sucked a few in with me. Look, sometimes in this game, you just have to swallow your pride and say, I may have got this slightly wrong. Now, I have contacted my good mate, Matty, and said, mate, what's actually happened to you? Do you think this is actually real, or do you think Bevo's just doing Bevo things and playing with our minds? And from what Matty said, it's usually a full dress rehearsal as close as possible to what they're going to be putting out in their first game, being the opening round. So, yeah, that is absolutely enough for me just to go, nah, I didn't see enough. Look, if he's the clear number 3 man for some reason opening round, then I may look there again. But from what we saw, I think I may have got a little bit too excited about the pick and currently not on my side. So disappointing, but when it's his time, it's going to be his time and he's going to absolutely kill it. I'm confident of that, but he simply needs the minutes and I don't know if they're going to be there.
And on that, Western Bulldogs are the only team, actually, fun fact, that award best and fairest votes for preseason games. So that supports what Matty was saying in terms of what they play in preseason is what they want to put out in round 0. Now, Rossco, you did watch this game. What did you make of the Bulldogs midfield mix? Sanders got concussed, but apart from that, what did you make of that midfield mix and in terms of Supercoach relevancy?
Well, I said to my dad, I was like, well, the Dogs are going to be strong again. We know their midfield is going to be beast. Their forward line normally kicks a few goals. The mids chip in there. The area they need to focus on is defense, and they defended well. But sure enough, that entire prediction came through. The midfield, I think, overran the Hawks midfield at times. Delivery to the forwards was really good. I mean, Jordan Croft kicked 3. We didn't even see Sam Darcy. Like they scored 117 points without him. I think that midfield group is going to be very, very strong. I'm not brave enough to pick the Bont at 700K. Not for me. I don't know if I'll regret that, but I don't know. It's a tricky one.
Average 152 in his first 3, Rossco. 152. That's big. That's a big average.
Yeah.
But Rossco, back your gut in, mate. That's what
yes,
that's get you going far.
Best advice.
But the Doggies, they're always going to score. And what was the stat, DR, that in the past 5 years, 3 Bulldogs midfielders have scored above 100? Like
since 2019. Since 2019.
So
yeah,
good market share.
nothing to say that.
4 for 3.
Now, this year, I reckon they're going to introduce a new midfield into this mix. It's not Joel Fraser. It's Tim English. He's back in business. He looks awesome. And this was spoiler alert for my team preview, but I've had him in from the first draft and he hasn't moved.
Oh, Spillsy.
He's not happy. He is the one that he's got the leap. He still commands the ball out of kick-ins. He gets down the line. And if you get a ruckman that can't keep up with him endurance-wise, like a Lloyd Meek, these are the ruckmen that are going to get phased out. There was a period in time, Sam Mitchell, now the score's probably inflated. He's probably not going to score 141, but there was a period in time in this game that Sam Mitchell said he pulled Lloyd Meek and he put Josh Weddle and Chol into the ruck because he couldn't bear it. Meek couldn't go with him. And I think Tim English is going to do that to a lot of the rucks going around the comp. Maybe not your Max Gawn types, possibly Luke Jackson, but we'll get to Luke Jackson in a bit. But Tim English is the one. He is the one, I reckon, this year. Where do you boys sit on that?
I don't know. I'll put my hands up and say I don't know what to do with the rucks anymore.
I am seeing the appeal of him being 70k cheaper than Grundy and sharing the same buy.
Yeah.
Just like early, like round 3 buy, like shares it with Bont. It's Petrarca. Oh, it's hard. I like Cherry because
you'll still have 18 players though.
It is,
You will
yeah,
still have
18
18
players.
players.
But I'm looking at my side. I'm trying to not have more than 2 primos per buy, if that makes sense. I don't really care about the rookies, but with the round 3 buy, I'm noticing the ones that do have the buy are actually the primos, and that's I don't know. It's hard.
Janath, could I ask you a question?
Go on, mate.
Let's just pretend that Tristan Sherry and Tim English are the same price.
Yeah.
Who are you selecting?
Tim English. with the recent changes, I think what I saw on the weekend valid. I needed to see him in a non-state of origin landscape because, like, state of origin exactly, isn't it? And I know in the season guide I've got Tristan Sherry at R1, and maybe it's closer than me just saying Tim English straight away if they were the same price. I think Tristan Sherry is definitely one, especially with his ownership going down as well now. That is one to consider. I just think back to the ride I had with Tim English a couple of years ago when everything clicked for him and you knew what you were going to get from him. I think he just showed a different type of non-passiveness. So not aggression, but he wasn't passive because the rules, I think, suit him more now. That's where I sit with him. Whereas I think Tristan Sherry may still take a while to come to terms with the new rules. Not to say he's a bad pick. I probably just prefer English at this stage.
What about the run though? Like the easy run that Cherry's got.
No, definitely.
Yeah, what you were saying to me earlier was something
English. Have you seen English's run? So Tim English's run, Spillsy, after North. So okay, Collingwood maybe, Carlton, Fremantle, Brisbane, St Kilda's a tough one, but then the Giants, Port Adelaide, in back-to-back, Gold Coast, Essendon. There are some matchup. Geelong after that.
Oh,
like that is until his bye. Yes, you have the Wits matchup, which will be difficult, and you have the double Saints matchup, which I think is going to be difficult.
The most restrictive in the comp, I heard.
We'll see about that. But if I'm picking a ruckman now, Tristan Sherry's run, English's run, they're both good runs. That 90k cheaper player is what appeals to me a lot here. Yes, he has the buy, but he will get within 5 points of Tristan Sherry, which is, well, I think he may exceed Cherry by 5 points, to make up for the buy, let alone the value difference.
Are you running both, Janath?
Do you want me to do a team review?
No,
I'm struggling with the R2.
I'm just intrigued.
I'm struggling with the
rucks
yeah.
I think the rucks is where you
tough.
can be a bit more lenient with the rucks and reveal it because everyone's different. I think the rucks is the hardest by far, hardest part to pick in a side.
Yeah, so. each their own. Janath said he owned him, went on a nice ride. Other people, their ride the last few years has been like, remember Willy Wonka, the original, how they go on that really wacky thing? It was just, but no, you raise very, very good points. I've got nothing more on the racks.
Let's move on a little bit from the English discussion because there are some other players we have to talk about for the Dogs because not only are they going to come up with the premiums, I think they have some very, very relevant rookies as well. Artie Jones is a lock in my side because he gives something different to all the other small forwards they have, especially in the absence of Waitman. He looks a different player. He looks rejuvenated, just oozes class. Rossco. Now, I went into this game thinking that Lockie Jacks is the Western Bulldogs defender to pick. But I came out of it thinking there's a different player that may be ahead of him. Do you want to chat a little bit about the Dogs' backline, rookies?
Well, Lockie Jacks wasn't that impressive, to be honest. I think you might be talking about one man, Michael Selwood.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, I don't know of the Dogs rookies who to take because Cooper Hines played all right as well. But
It's a bit higher.
you know what Luke Beveridge is like? He just
149.
loves to chop and change. That's why I'm even nervous about Artie Jones, because Artie Jones is the kind of player who has a generational stinker, touches the ball twice and a half, and then he's gone the next game.
Generational stinker.
And I think he's on form for doing that
Yeah,
at least
drive
once
by.
every season since his debut year.
Yeah.
So
Very
Beveridge
fair.
waves a very harsh axe at times, and that can be scary to pick a lot of their rookies. The other one that didn't even play was Carmichael. He's defensive midfielder. I think he's in like 20% of teams still. He was touch and go from injury, I believe, to play. I think they kept him out. But apparently he's still pushing for a debut, even though he hasn't played this game.
Bailey Dale to come back in as well.
Yeah. So
There
lots
is
to
some
watch for.
moving pieces. Now, very quickly, I know this is quite relevant. If he had to pick one, Jai Sarong or Lockie Jacks?
Sarong.
Sarong.
Spillsy?
Sarong,
Sarong.
yeah.
He's nailed, isn't he?
He should be. He should be.
Yeah.
He'll play.
Yeah,
he
they
looked good,
are-
boys. We didn't really touch on Sarong, but I don't know why we didn't touch on Sarong, but he looked unreal. Like
I think he's just so
sensitive.
obvious. Like
There's no
everyone's
way
got
he'll
him. It's
play.
just like
Impossible.
shark him on your bench. Like he plays. He can play wing. He can play key.
Yeah,
back,
he's
he
on my
needs
field,
to-
mate. He's at D6. I'm comfortable. He's got a good
Get him
role. He
on.
looks good.
Get him on.
Did it in
Now-
the wet. Looks unreal.
There is quite possibly the biggest trap ever that may be laid in round 0 by the Hawks. Now, Jai Newcombe is out for 1 week, suspended. Cam McKenzie has been concussed. This is Conor Macdonald's midfield
C-Max
in
season.
round 0 against a
C-Max
depleted
season.
GWS side. Now,
He
I think
will
it
too.
actually helps coaches because
He's got a pop.
if he scores 60, you're ruling him out. There's no way. But if he scores 150, coaches are going to have the biggest dilemma as to whether he is a trap or not, because we just won't have the data available to us. And this could be very interesting. So we won't touch on too much because I think it doesn't really matter what he scored this game. It all matters about what he does against the Giants. So there are some rookies, though, at the Hawks. Now, Sam Butler was one that I was quite interested in because he looks to be locked into a wing now. 190K, so a bit more expensive. I think he didn't show enough in this game to suggest, pick me. The tackles and the marks weren't there. Did you boys have any sort of other players at the Hawks that sort of caught your eye?
I'm not too keen on too many of the younger ones.
Yeah.
They're never
I think
really a
Sam
super
Mitchell's made
relevant
them a very-
spot.
They never have been, have they,
Dower
Rossco? Yeah.
Dower. That's the word.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Let's move on then to what Rossco reckons it's the same as for the flag this year, but
I didn't say
Premier.
go
that.
straight to you, mate. Now, Rossco, this might be the biggest conjecture I've seen in the community is what to make of Nasiah full forward, because I think that makes him
I
a
can't
must
wait
pick.
for this chat.
I know you think it's going to make it a must pick, but I know a lot of people think that it makes him a must fade. Talk us through this, mate.
Oh, that's strong. Must fade off
Well,
that.
what's the record Isaac Heaney has for like 20 disposals and 30 goals in a season or something like that?
Yep,
Like,
probably.
I reckon Naz could do that and average like 30.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to take him, because you tag him. Players can't tag him because they can't run with him. He's such a great athlete, such a great runner. You put someone to him and then they send him to full forward and he gets out on the lead, takes a mark and kicks a goal. Like, what can you do? I think you have to pick him. I'm actually, trying not to be biased. You always tell me not to be biased, Janath. But I've got him and Sinclair in there at the moment. I think
That's
I'm
not too
willing
bad.
I'm willing to cop the round 4 bye. No Giants at the moment. Just Naz, Sinclair, Flanders, and Filippo. I think that's the 4. and I can easily make a best 18 with a squad of 26 to choose from. So,
Now,
Naz
this is what you
midfield.
see with Naz.
Yeah.
You go.
Sinclair back.
Yeah.
Flanders roaming around the ground everywhere, sort of playing loose, but starting midfield.
Yeah.
And then Filippo obviously playing midfield with being so cheap and as a forward as well. Those are the four. I wouldn't touch anyone else.
Oh, really? Carroll? Oh, sorry. Go. And
I was just saying with Naz, you give him, so he plays midfield, he doesn't go off. Yes, he had 79% time on ground, but his secondary position is full forward. Saints all press up, which is the Ross line tactic of flooding the stoppage. And Naz is one out with 40 meters of space in front of him to lead wherever he wants, with every single player on his team wanting to get the ball to him. There were times where Liam Ryan would look the other way, knowing exactly where he wants to kick to.
There's that kick.
And Naz would just lead into the space.
Yeah.
And it's a scary sight.
Is that an issue, though? Like, surely, right? I'm an opposition team. I know where they're trying to get the ball. They were looking, you said it right. They're looking for Naz on every occasion. Is that necessarily a really, really good thing? Or does it make things too obvious? Does he start to get double teamed, this bloke? Like,
double teamed.
It's hard to double team a bloke who starts at half back and finishes at full forward. He can't.
Yeah.
He was taking kick-ins.
I think that gives you the problem then. It gives you the problem then, right? That's what's going to be our strategy. These two rucks, right? If we get King fit, let's imagine he's out of the picture, right? But let's say you double team Naz, then you've still got Marshall, Owens, Sharman, Mason Wood probably flying in off the other wing. That's four tall guys in that forward line that you have to contain as well. Yeah. I think that's the strategy that we're going for. You know, play Naz as the dynamic option, almost like a small even, you know. But then you're just going to have four big guys that are just going to be hopefully dominating.
Now, on this, mate, Sinclair looked to be the man down back, but Marcus Windhager was taking a lot of kick-ins and playing that halfback role. Are you confident Windhager sticks as a halfback?
Yeah, I think he will. We trialled him there late last season and he did pretty well. And obviously he got 41 disposals. I don't think they were all that great. I thought he got a lot of cheap touches. But still the role was there. He'll probably play there, but then that probably just makes up for Naz in my view. Yeah. DR, I know you touched on Jack Carroll and he's the other one that sort of has that halfback role. But I didn't really like his game. I thought he was a bit uncomposed. He kicked the ball to teammates on the lead a few times and hit it over their heads, that kind of thing. And Hunter Clark was apparently best on in the VFL. So I think he's probably the one that would be the most likely to go out over Sinclair and Windhager, obviously.
Another Carlton reject, mate.
Yeah.
Carlton reject. Just another one. Add him to the list.
But
so, Spills, I'll let you take it away about Essendon because I think I've had enough.
Yeah, no, you're right. Before we talk about Dons, I do want to have my mini say on Naz. I think he is one of very few players in the game that you can't really tag. You can't really shut him down. Yep. He's very similar, different, but same but different to Bont. Like, can't really tag him in a different way. His follow-up effort is as good as anyone in the competition. We know, like, Callahan's really good at it. Dacos is really good at it. And I think Nas is by far the best at it. I watched it. He takes kick-outs and he runs. You can't play on him. He ends up at full forward. He's got that much of a tank. Like, you can have three play on him, but none of the three are going to be able to run with him. He'll take kick-outs, goes to the handball receive. If he doesn't get it, he'll run all the way down a half forward and become a leading option. It's just criminal how good he is. And I think the ownership's getting out of hand. I think it's about 56, 57%. It was 52 for a while. It's crept up now since this game. And I just think you can't, like, it's too much of a risk to antipod that, in my opinion. Like, even if he does get tagged and drops a little bit below a ton, I think that's a much lower risk than antipodding him. I think Jack Sinclair's a great pick, Ross. I reckon he's fantastic, but I'd much rather have Nas in my side when he's popping 150 plus and he's not there in my team. So it's tough. It's a really hard one. It's funny how you you talk about the top 6 defenders. I've actually got Ash and Nas there, where it's completely different to you. So it's a bit different, bit divisive, but I can't. Nas has been in the side since day dot, the team picker, and he won't be going anywhere now. That's for damn sure. So he looked great. He's going to be good.
Spillsy, what about your boys at Essendon?
Yeah, it's going to be a long year. The rookies didn't quite deliver. I know a few have probably faded away a little bit on Farrow. Just were we looking at 11? Was it 11 touches? Something like that. Yeah.
He only played half the game, to be fair.
Yeah, but what caught my eye was his disposal efficiency was still over 90% in the wet in Ballarat. Impressive, really fantastic for Farrow. So we can count on Farrow. It looks like he's got Archie Roberts' new role, or old role, I should say. He was halfback. Roberts is pushing into the midfield, secondary on the wing, had plenty of the pill. I think Roberts is a really good option. If you're not looking towards McCurch, or you don't get McCurch, you don't want to go up or down, I think he's the next best in line. He looks a player. What a steal in the draft. I can't believe how low he slid down to. It was a pick in the 50s. And we've seen it again. So he's the only real notable one. But other than that, nothing really caught my eyes here, boys. Sharp, you can have him on the bench, I think. Probably not a field option, but that's because there's not really other options in the mid. So not much relevance with the Dons, boys. A bit more with the Saints. But rookies look good.
Al Akchar is a rookie that I think we're going to have to pay a bit of attention to as well. He looks a player. Looks like a normal, ordinary Joe, but he can play. And I think he'll have some good job security as well. But as you mentioned, nothing else off note. Darcy Parish. Very quickly on Parish.
Yes.
I think he passed with flying colours in that he didn't accumulate as much, didn't have any marks, but got from contest to contest, which is what I was looking for. Had sort of the 7 clearances. So he's got that clearance game going. Went a 48% disposal efficiency, which is not really Parish-like.
Standard.
Well, I mean, maybe standard, but I think he can do better than that.
I could. Yeah,
That's
sorry,
low,
he can do better than that. But he's not a
21 is low for him.
I actually disagree.
You disagree? Let's hear it.
Ooh,
I think Parish and Caldwell, in particular, those two, to me, were very lazy on Sunday.
Ooh,
I reckon those two were cruising around the ground at about 80%. I could see Merritt was digging in. He had a down game. And I think
Dustin the Cobwebs, Rossco, they'll be there round 1 for us.
I think Durham was going at it, but just not sure. I didn't like what I saw with Parish.
Parish will make it worth it in Anzac Day, as he always does. So stick with him.
We just got to hope he gets to Anzac Day, Spillsy. Come on.
That's the one, isn't it? That's the point. That's the big discussion.
Let's move on then to Fremantle and the Crows, because if there was one Christmas gift that Supercoach gave to us under the Christmas tree, it is Hayden Young as a mid 300k option, because now the data here doesn't really show, because he basically played the second half as a key forward. Well, as a forward. But he had 8 clearances and 9 contested possessions at halftime. He was looking unreal. And I'll get the scoreline up for him, because I think this will actually show a good picture here. So he was on 60 at the half, basically was accumulating that wheel. Didn't do too much in the third, but then again kicked a couple goals in the fourth quarter. He looks, if you haven't got him already, he's the player that could get to 600k as one of those mid-price options. Probably more, I trust him more than Parish in that regard. Now,
no brainer.
Before we get to the fourth name on that list, because I know he was on my watch list, but I didn't really consider him too much as an option. But Clark, Sarong, Brayshaw. How did you boys see that? So I know Rossco, you watched this game quite closely as well. How did you view those three? Were you seeing them in cruise control a little bit?
Yeah, look, I think Jordan Clark was very composed. Obviously, he had 100% disposal efficiency.
Yeah.
He just sort of, floated around doing what he normally does. Sarong was probably a bit more noticeable for me than Brayshaw in the midfield. But I don't think either of them were overly impressive. I mean, maybe it's the same thing that I could say with Parish in the last game. Maybe it's dusting off the cobwebs. I'm not really sure. But no, I don't think either of them were particularly super impressive, especially when you compare it to the likes of Hayden Young and even Murphy Reid. I know he's a second-year player, but, geez, he looked very, very good. He's very noticeable as well with the long hair. I'm not sure if I'm tempted to take him, but definitely one to watch.
Yeah. He's going to ooze class. And if he does make the second-year breakout, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Can I bring one player up?
I think I know which player you're going to talk about, but go on.
Oh, it's out there. The big fella.
Ruff?
I'm thinking Mason Cox.
Oh,
I knew it.
Mason Coxie.
This is an interesting one. At 226,600 with forward ruck DPP. If he keeps Shrek out of the side, I don't know how realistic it is. Could he be that man as a bit of nice cover, can score enough to make things work? If Doggers go and be a midfielder half the time, could it work? I'm just throwing it out there. I couldn't do it myself, but I see a world where this bloke could make 150K and provide some cover if needed.
This is the worry with that pick, right? Is that I think Mason Cox is the reason that Luke Jackson can't become the pick we want him to be. Given the fact that when Jackson was the number one ruck, but he came back into the midfield and Cox was playing as the ruck, I think Cox's role is very interchangeable with Sean Darcy's. So I've heard some people say that they won't play them both in the same side. I've heard some people say that Cox is playing the pseudo role of Sean Darcy and that Sean Darcy may not come back into the side. In that regard, Luke Jackson's role, if he's not playing as a full-time ruck, this has me a bit of cold feet because I don't think I want him as a midfielder, even with the new rules, seeing how the ruck split came out in that practice match.
Is there a ruckman that gets affected by these rules as much as someone like a Sean Darcy? When I think about like the big red cross when it comes to ruck types with the new rules, Sean Darcy is almost the poster boy for me. Am I overreacting to that?
They can't play him, can they?
3 words. Long-term contract. They're not going to not play him, right?
They can't.
I don't see how they can. I honestly don't. I really don't.
Why didn't they do it already? Isn't he fit?
I don't know. We never know when he's fit.
And that's the other thing. Like, how many games is he actually going to play?
I'm pretty sure. Oh, he's playing. He's in the waffle.
I don't know. I just think that we could be looking here in a couple of months' time and going, geez, that Mason Cox pick just slid by us. I just got a feeling. Something about it. Oh. It's crazy, but I don't know.
Couldn't go near him. Couldn't go near him with a 211 centimeter pole, boys.
42. He's priced at 42. He needs to get to 70. If he gets 70, he's going to make us the money. But DR, is this one of those players? Is he one of those players again that's in that sort of the grill up with the money sort of picks?
100%.
Like, would you start him?
No, I don't think I'd. Do you know what? If Darcy's fit and his name's in the reserves, and Cox is named as the R1 or even just in the side, I reckon I'm going to go with him. I might give that a crack with my current ruck setup at the moment and my potential concerns with it. So I might do it. I think there's crazier moves. We look at role with players, don't we? So we look at role, we look at the buy, we look at the cover that he provides and the price. You know, what's Hewland going to produce at 200 odd K compared to a Cox? If he's in that role, I am actually pretty interested, to tell you the truth. And it's 34 or whatever it is. I understand that, but yeah.
So there was 99 ruck contests. Mason Cox took 60 of them. He had a 60% ruck share compared to Jackson's 40. And that's the concerning part, is you can't pay 611K for Jackson as a midfielder. I don't think he's that good as a midfielder.
No.
compared to him as a
Agreed.
ruck, which is what elevated his average so much last year. But it's a lot, boys. Let's talk a little bit about Adelaide as well, because they're missing pieces, Rankin in particular. Let's get out of the way. Lockie McAndrew, whether you play him at R2 or R3 or the flex, probably not the R3 actually, flex or R2, you just lock him in. He's probably going to be on field somewhere. Yep. Structurally, it probably comes down to how you view the other rucks. Have I got that right, wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep.
Just don't know where I want to play him yet. I don't know. I haven't decided.
But he's going to be on field somewhere.
He's either R2 or flex. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't make my mind up.
Dawson looked okay. Nothing special. Same with Rory Laird. Josh Worrell looks like he's taken another step. And I think I was big on him at the end of last year, saying he's going to take the Tom Stewart type leap that Stewart took a couple of years into his career. Worrell's definitely got the traits. A very similar type of player, rangy character, can kick the ball well, takes kick-ins, all of that. But let's talk about some rookies. Oh, before we talk about some rookies, Josh Rochelle, yes, no?
No.
Not for me.
No. I think he's very similar to Conor Macdonald. They both feel such traps, but they both have potential upside that I'd rather buy into later than start with and potentially get burnt.
Agree.
But let's talk about the rookies, because there's a couple across the mix here for both sides. So for Adelaide, there are, let's say there's a couple of rookies. So we've got Lockie McAndrew is a tick. Braden Cook at 158k. Toby Murray at 119k playing the second ruck role at Adelaide. And he's the one that Adelaide have touted to sort of help unlock Riley Thilthorpe's graduation into the midfield. And Chase Jones, who I was very hot on going into this game, but put out an all-time stinker. Boys. Oh, Mitch Marsh as well. Mitch Marsh being the key forward there. Out of those
what about Hugh Bond, Janath? Hugh Bond, 83.
I think he's a rookie. I think he might
I'm pretty sure he is, man.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's 167.8. So he's elevated price, but yeah, we can put him into the mix.
80's
how do you
good.
boys look at those ones?
Yeah. I'd probably have Murray as my number one, to be quite fair.
He's in my side.
Yeah, do you know what?
Is rock solid.
Big decision for me at the moment is between him and, say, a Doverston, who I think job security is fantastic. We'll chat about soon. But, yeah, I don't mind that, Janath. He's been on my bench as well. Yep. So he's number one for me out of that Crows mix. The other guys, I'm just not sure on job security or exact role. Like Chase Jones, absolutely not. I just can't go there. Look at his time on ground. It's like,
79.
Yeah.
This is his ninth. This is his ninth in the AFL. Eighth or ninth in the AFL.
Yeah, you just don't go there.
Yeah, he's going to get delisted at the end of the year.
Yeah. And I don't know
Rossco,
too much about the other guys' role, so.
Yeah. Spillsy? Rossco Spillsy?
Janath's gone bang. He's getting delisted.
He's getting delisted. Or with performances like that, in your eighth in the AFL.
Well,
sorry, he's an early pick as well.
Yeah. Top 10 pick.
Yeah. You can't be delivering that. They need to look to the future now. The Crows in that spot, that wing spot.
Super draft that too, wasn't it? Like that.
The super draft. They took him ahead of Butters.
I'm pretty sure he had
Caldwell. Yeah.
Oh, what an all-time.
Rankin, Walsh, the King brothers.
Worse than Tambling and
Connor Rosie. Nick Blakey.
Grab Jones.
Oh,
what a pick.
Oh, that hurts.
Almost as bad as Max King. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'll see myself out. All right. Kangaroos and Magpie. Well, Rossco came out all guns blazing, so I had to return one back in return. North and Collingwood. So North has finally won a close game against Collingwood's B team.
C team.
C team. All right.
You're on a roll tonight, Janath.
Usually
you're the conservative one.
Look at the players that played in this game. I heard someone say it is, if you played in this game, it tells you how much Collingwood rates you.
Yeah. No, Long's pretty good. He's a solid weapon.
Now, DR, you did watch this game. Who stood out for you?
Oh, the really obvious pick, Harry Sheezel. Just lock him in. There's absolutely no overthinking this one. Super obvious choice. Just get him in. LDU is a really interesting one. Now, I know he's been a bit of a burn man for people in the past, but I've actually rated his preseason, and he's an early pick. He is a talent. Is this the year that it really clicks? I know he did really good things for you a couple of years ago, Janath, when he had a bit of a slow start. You kept the faith, and then he came home really strong. So you'll probably have a bit of a better idea to his game, but he's certainly a pod pick at under 530K with no buy that you could go if you've got a little bit of confidence there. So didn't mind LDU's game. Doverston, so he hit the scoreboard 3 times. So 3 goals, 1. This guy is an absolute player. They kept on referring him to the wizard lookalike, which got a little bit boring towards the end of the game. He's his own man, so leave the man alone. But the issue is he's not going to kick 3 goals each week. He's a small forward that plays for the Roos. Great pressure. I think his tackle count was decent, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had
6
tackles. 6 tackles.
6. So, yeah, good pressure as a small forward. So, love his job security. I think he'll play week upon week. Just I would not be counting on him to get close to triple figures any week. I think he's going to be that slow burn type play. But yeah, look pretty good. If you know Sullivan looks okay.
Really quickly, they are.
Go on, mate.
Go Spillsy.
Just real quick. So North's fixture, I really like that. I think he benefits a little bit, and you obviously have to play him on field. I think he comes in handy with the flex. So if he really shits the bed, you're not going to get it on your field. But hopefully when you need him, he's there. Watching him play, his forward pressure was electric. He wanted the pill. He stood up, and I think he was like a bit of an early call, but I reckon he was one of the steals of the draft. I thought he was just unreal, probably as good as any rookie we've seen, except he was just so good. So I don't know. I've locked him on the bench at the moment. Great job security. He'll have his moments where he doesn't score well, but yeah, I reckon he's a great pick. Looks unbloody believable.
I'm getting some Kako vibes, some potential Kako vibes from last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just the vibes that I'm getting. But if we quickly go down the bottom, just want to cross this guy out. Zane Duursma, for me, he just had a bit of a nothing role, a little bit popped out, here and there, but just not for me at the price. I like his MVP though.
By the way,
he's a leaper. He's a jumper. He's look, he's got some talent there, but just not for me. We need to see a bit of a defined role from him. So no from me. The big one here, boys, Plumeyers. Wow, this was a fantastic performance. Young player of the VFL last year. We know what the history's like with players coming into the comp. I really rate this bloke. I think he has to play above someone like a Daniel. Does the coaching staff, does Clark? I'm not too sure. But for one of his first games, seemed ultra composed to me. A couple of really nice 1-2s. Made a couple of mistakes, as you expect, but I love the way that he actually had the confidence to take the game on. So I was really impressed with him. 99K. Fingers crossed that he lines up in round 1. And Cherry's probably the other one here. For the Roos, look, the centre bounces or throw-ups, whatever you want to refer to them, are going to be a little bit of an issue for him. He did cop a fair knock as well. I reckon it was in the 3rd quarter. He was almost reaching for the ball and then copped it sort of close to the ribs, and he was down for a little bit. Spent the majority of the last quarter, if not all the last quarter, on the bench, and Coleman Jones took over. So, look, I'm still starting him at the moment. I'm getting some cold feet, but he wasn't that terrible for me to completely rule him out. Others are complete opposites to me, and others have said, gone. So that's my view on the Roos. Anyone want to add anything to the Roos side of things before we quickly get to the Pies? Or
there's some pieces missing. Hardiman and McCurch obviously to come straight back in. So the concern is, can you drop Daniel in favour of the Plumeyers type, which probably makes sense longer term? Luke Park was playing a little bit off the half-back line as well to start off the game. So hopefully it's just fitting pieces into the side. I know that Luke Urquhart was in the first rotation midfielders, but he's probably not a first rotation midfielder. So I think there's still some moving parts in there as well. For Collingwood, I want to just talk very quickly that one player, Josh Dacos, and then I say we just give this a write-off because we'll see everything we need to see in round 0. Done. And when you're missing half your team, there's not much to talk about. So what did you boys make of Josh Dacos?
Is it the role he's going to play in season? Because he was very much playing a defensive role, wasn't he? He took a lot of the kick-ins. Isn't he meant to be a midfielder this year? That's my only concern. Did we actually see what his role is going to be in in season, or with the amount of names out there, just say, "Oh, Joshy, just go back for today's son. You've trained in the midfield for a lot of the preseason. We just go back to your old role." So I don't really have much to talk about with him. He's definitely a pick that's on my radar as a pod, but I wasn't able to take much with so many players missing. Boys, anything else? Any opinions or
No.
Well,
Harvey Harrison was one that I was looking at, but nothing inspiring. Just didn't show it. Rossco?
And sorry, Spills, for the dodgy mail. I did think that Collingwood were going to play 2 rucks, but Steen was no good, so I don't think he'll be playing.
Yeah, Cameron didn't do much, did he? Didn't do enough.
Didn't do enough for me. I needed to see a statement against Cherry, and they just killed each other basically. Nothing good to take out of that. It was just not what you wanted.
This is a pick, Janath. This bloke up the top. Janath, can you do us a favour, please? Can you go to the quarter by quarter for Tom McCarthy?
Tom McCarthy. Here we go. So he was on 61 at halftime, 69. I think he was a bit injured. Was he injured in the third quarter for a little bit and then came back on and then finished on 97? So awesome game. But he was on 45 at quarter time.
Yeah, so what I just wanted to allude to is basically he got half his entire score in the first quarter. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. Some people after the first quarter had locked this bloke in their sides, but he still actually didn't do enough for me, as impressive as he was with the 97 Supercoach points, to select him over your Rosie. I know he's a little bit cheaper, but your Rosies, your Sinclair types, even a McKercher. He just didn't do enough. But if you were keen on him, he probably did do enough. So that's how I feel about McCarthy. I've never been really big on him.
Yeah.
The next man, though.
Very quickly. Spillsy, you watched this game. Was there any sort of players that caught your eye, and why?
Yeah, Watkins. So he was great for Port. Yeah. Just a bit worried with his job security, but he did literally everything he could have done. So he's a 99K mid rookie that we can have on the bench. So, and just on the North game, did we cover the other guy? The other 99K.
We covered Blamires. Yeah,
covered him. So really fortunate to have those two pop out. But I just would watch this space with Watkins. He's going to have to do a whole lot in round 1. So I'm a bit skeptical picking that. But then again, there really isn't many other rookies. Like I've got Artie Jones there on the bench just because I don't really know what else to do on the bench. Yeah. So it's slim picking. So he's one to consider. But a bit disappointing with the West Coast rookies. I don't hate the Dersma pick. I know he's pretty highly owned. I know you're paying top dollar, but the mid rookies are pretty bad, and you got someone who's going to play every single week and doesn't have an early buy. So look, hasn't been in my side at any point really, but geez.
Hope Aaron's not listening to this. Our wonderful friend on YouTube, Aaron, our wonderful friend.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron. Yeah, loves the Dersma pick. Loves the Dersma pick and loves giving a bit of shade if he doesn't.
He looks great,
as well, the old Aaron.
What about Robertson, mate? So he had a team high CBA percentage, I think. 15 contested possessions, 7 clearances. Role is there.
Just play mid all day.
Lock and load into your on-field forward line.
Have been for a while, but he gave that clarity. He's a definite lock at F6 for me. I think McRae as well was okay. So he's unique, not great, but he's got good DPP. So I don't know if we don't get Jones, then maybe we just grab him, and he could become a really nice, handy loophole for us. I know we don't want to start a loophole because we've got the Reedy McAndrews set up, but McRae does play a lot of late Sunday games, mid-forward DPP. So if that pick flops, I think, he could be good. But otherwise pretty disappointing for the West Coast rookie side of things. Harley Reid, no chance for me. I was a little bit interested, but I don't know. Too many free kicks against. He'd be that frustrating. But that's the only real notable. Yeah. And Schoenberg's probably a bust as well.
Rossco?
And CDT, no way. You can't pay that for an R3. Impossible.
I think you missed the biggest rookie, though. Roscoe, do you want to talk about Josh Lindsay a bit?
Oh, that's your boy, Janath.
Overlooked
Is
him.
he my boy? He is my boy. He
Pick
looks
him-
unreal.
Pick him in your
He's
defense.
Ryan Marriage didn't impress me at all. I think that Josh Lindsay is going to be the main designated kicker out of that back line because they want the ball in his hands. He did make a couple of mistakes early, but there was a kick where it was near the boundary line, near the 50 line, and he squared it back into Willem Dersma straight in front. Dersma kicked it out in the full, unfortunately, but the vision and the left foot's there. He doesn't have a right foot, but he's going to accumulate a lot of marks and kicks playing
Nice sausage as well. He kicked as well.
Yeah.
Nice little sausage. Yeah.
Now, before we touch on the Port players, I want to touch on two things about Port Adelaide's game style that I think is going to be super conducive to high scoring. They go through the middle. If I saw a game style change across all the teams, like I try to watch something of every game, the two that stood out to me most is Melbourne want to move the ball quickly and Port use the corridor at every wheel. They get the ball and they're looking corridor straight away. And if the corridor isn't open, they go down the line. Down the line is not their first option. So there was a play, not in this game actually, sorry, but in the previous game in WA where Jordan Clark kicked a ball to Hayden Young in the middle, who kicked it to Jai Amos.
Oh,
That sort of thing, that was an unreal play. That's what Port was trying to do every single possession. They were just trying to get the ball from one end to the other so quickly. And this is going to help their transition plays like your Butters, like your Rosie. And I'll let you guys touch on the rest of them because this is going to be a super relevant fantasy side this year simply because of that. And their tackling. Their tackling was immense. In a full practice match, that was probably the highest intensity I've seen a team go. And you can tell Carr has instilled it in them.
I don't know how many times Rosie was that one that just kicked that last ball inside 50 to a target. He just looked on. And Rosie, it must be mentioned, did play a lot of midfield time in this game, given the fact that you're Bergen that route. And Josh Carr mentioned that at the start. So I do expect him to sort of shift more to that half-back role with some stints in the midfield. But as I always say with the pick, if that's a worst-case scenario, hey, he's going to the midfield.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So don't overthink Butters and Rosie. In my opinion, I say just get these blokes in your side personally. I suppose Vicentini, if you were thinking of going there as a pick, 86 points, it's probably close to what you wanted to see. I've just never been in the position where I'm looking at him seriously. Georgiadis could win the Coleman this year. I think if things go really well with his
West Coast every week.
Well, he's got a nice fixture.
He does.
So I think that could go a long way there. Probably the ones to then talk about for me are the rookies.
Toddy Marshall.
So you've got Marshall, Watkins, and probably Whitlock is the other one for me. Whitlock looked okay. I don't know anything about his job security moving forward, but from what I saw, he seems like a pretty impressive young kid. Marshall was out of the side a week ago, back into the side now. He did have a little bit of height on his opponent, which was handy. He didn't do a heap of intercepting from what I saw, but got a little bit of it and was pretty clean with his disposal. So I think he'll just do enough.
Still 10 marks. That's solid as whether they're
five intercept marks. Yeah.
Sorry, did he get 5 intercept marks?
He had 5
I don't know what I was watching.
5 intercepts, 10
that
total.
just locks it in.
Yeah.
That just locks it in for me. And I think Josh Carr did mention pre-game that they're looking to settle him into the role. I don't know what words he used, but something
took a couple kick-ins as well. He was on kicking duty a little bit as well. Yeah.
Well, let's just lock him in. Yeah. And Watkins is the other one.
Does he go straight out for Wines? But there's a rookie that we haven't talked about. Will Brodie's so outer for this side. If he can't get a game without Wines, with Watkins ahead of him, he's cool.
Why did they bring him across? I actually feel sorry for this guy now. I actually feel sorry for him. Like, I don't know. He's just surely give him a preseason game. I don't know. He's no pick now. If you've got Brodie, just off. I think most people were expecting him to be at least the man that fills the void for the first couple of weeks. Yeah. But just off the radar all of a sudden. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Roscoe, what was your take?
He's in the Elijah Sada school of can't run, can't kick.
Well, Janet's on fire.
That one hurt, but I can't argue with that.
There's a couple. I'll put some of my boys in the firing line if you want me to, DR. That's all right. I'm happy to do that.
No, I think that's a pretty good summary. I think we picked Butters and Rosie. We can't really get a watch because they don't play round 0 for some of the rookies. But I don't know. It's just hard with Port, I think, because they don't play round 0. To really get a gauge, maybe Watkins and Marshall would be the two that I'd touch, I think.
Yeah.
You can't pick Bergman now, can you? Can you still pick Bergman?
Nah, probably not.
How many questions? We wanted to see it. We haven't got an insight. It's too risky. I can't.
Old's off him, a little while ago.
I was never interested from the get-go, but I've definitely.
They're also playing the Eagles
now.
So, you know.
True. Yeah.
Boys, we did get to the end of the previews, but before we finish up, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, go through each of the round 0 games very quickly. One sentence. I want you guys for each game to give me the one question you want answered from each of them. No need for a justification or anything. Starting up with Swans and Carlton. So, Rossco, what is the one question you want answered from this game?
For me, I want to see how Errol Goulden goes after missing the preseason.
Awesome. Spillsy?
Is Reedy the definitive R2 and can he hold his own and score more than 60?
Love that. DR?
Is Isaac Heaney going to play that well that I go back to my original pod and take him over Anderson?
And my question is, how good does Sam Walsh play in terms of what kind of player we're going to get from him this year? All right, Suns and the Cats. I'll go first this time. I want to see whether Gold Coast's midfield is still as leaky to opposition midfielders as it was last year. We'll go DR. Go back in reverse order.
Yeah, I really want to see Christian Petrucca's midfield split. You've got your Humphrey, your Tukes. So how much mid-time is Track going to get?
Spillsy?
Good one, DR. I reckon, is Bruhn's half-back role sustainable and can he back it up?
Oh, yeah, good
Very
one.
quick, I want to mark up. How many, is it a points or is it something you're looking for to pick him?
A little bit both. I want to see 90 plus, and I want to see maybe a few kick-ins, and I want that heat map to be in defensive half. If I see it pushing up towards like mid-half forward, I'm out. There's no way. So I want to see a little bit of both. He's going to have to set the world on fire for me to go there.
Rossco?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tanner Bruhn question as well. Now, as we've been recording this, Andrew Mackey has come out and said that Bailey Smith, Jeremy Cameron will play opening round, and Graham Myers is also likely to play.
Also likely to play. Likely.
Yes.
Jeez, that's a quick recovery for someone that was meant to miss until the bye.
GDS calculations all of a sudden.
Yeah. So that brings big questions regarding Tanner Bruhn.
Yeah. Awesome. But we'll get them answered. We will get them answered. All right. Giants and Hawkers. Rossco.
I don't have anyone from either of these teams, but defensive split, Ash and Whitfield. Let's go with that.
Easy. Spillsy.
Yeah, can Lockie Ash back it up with 20 plus kicks again? If so, he's in for me. That's simple as that. Very hot on him.
DR.
Toby Greene. Is Toby Greene going to play major midfield minutes? And is he going to go a 120 plus? If so, he may creep into some sides.
I'll finish off the Giants clean sweep and say, how does the Giants midfield rotation look with Finn Callahan back in the side, including what is the splits for Harry Rouston, who's a pick I'm very hot on, but I want to see that.
Nice. A lot of love for Hawthorn.
Lions and Doggies. Dia, I'll save you the question.
I'll
save you the question. So what I want to see is what the Lions backline looks like. Who is the main distributor? They got 4 names back there: Zorko, Fletcher, Wilmot, Coleman. What does the split look like? Dia, I know what question you're going to say. Just put it out there into the universe.
Where are they going to play the fridge? Is he going to be the third man or not? Come on, Bevo.
Spillsy.
This is interesting for me. So who's the more definitive pick Tim English or Hugh McCluggage. That's what I'm looking at.
What definitive pick. That's a good
Both
one.
play huge significance in how I line up. So it's
You
a
stick 'em one or
structural
the other?
change.
Yeah,
So,
nice. I'll
yeah,
rate that.
I can only pick
Spills.
one of them. But
Only
yeah,
one of them.
Great.
At the moment,
Rossco?
yeah. At the moment, yep.
Rossco?
Bulldogs defender, Jacks, Selwood, or other.
Yeah, Jack's super
And then-
disappointing. I want to see a backup game.
You
from
want to see
that.
it again? Yep. Bring it home, mate. Rossco? Saints, Collingwood.
I don't know.
Your boys.
This is tricky. I'm pretty well
favourites?
settled. I'll go with how much of that sort of halfback role does Windhager take?
Okay. Spillsy?
Is Darcy Cameron the pick that I thought he was? If you can do it against a double team, probably TDK is probably the best ruck suit for these new rules. If Cameron can go, if he goes 130 plus, I think he's back in. So I'm going to see it again. Didn't get a good look against Cherry, so we'll see.
DR?
Yeah, how does Jack Carroll go? Yeah, Carroll, they got him on my midfield bench. So does he get a game? And if so, will he be able to do enough to keep his spot going into round one?
Awesome. And I guess I'll put an end to this and say, I want to see moving forward what the ruck split between TDK and Marshall is. Is Marshall going to play as a key forward and have a 50-50 split? Or is it TDK 75, Marshall 25, and we could get Marshall as a forward come round 6? Because that won't
think
change
that's a
lot, but
possibility,
it might
Janath.
change a little bit about planning for that forward line. So just forward thinking in that regard there.
that.
But
My question was going to be, when Nas gets shut down by, how many people are going to fade him like me? And I was thinking down, shut down by Lockie Sullivan. I couldn't think of anyone, so I went with Jack Carroll.
boys, what a monster episode. 1 hour 51, but I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. Smashed through it in the end. The questions that we want answered in round 0 as well. Now, I know a lot of people can become very reactionary based on round 0 scores. Upend the entire team. Somehow end up with a whole team of players that have an early season bye. Just remember, you've done a lot to get to this position, a lot of research. Don't upend your team. If you're going to upend your team, at least get rid of your entire team rather than getting rid of 10 players and changing pieces around sort of thing. But try not to be try to be least reactionary as possible. Do you have anything that you boys want to touch on before we bring this potty to a close?
No, just good to get back together. Good to get back.
Sorry to be back, boys. So bloody good. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
So pumped.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just a big thank you to anyone that has purchased a guide, for all the contributors as well. Been a really fun project, a big project, but well worth it. And remember, GDS starts in round 0. So don't wait another week to get your GDS stuff sorted. It is starting this Thursday. So get involved, have a crack. If you still haven't, for some reason, signed up, make sure that you do use the code word BUTCHER, BUTCHER, and you'll get even more free packs to have a bit of a play around with. So many great fun comps as well this year. So big shout out to our good mates Tommy and Cal over at GDS. Absolute legendary blokes. Even though their taste in football teams isn't fantastic, they are ripping humans. So it's been such a wonderful partnership with them as well. So, get on your GDS stuff.
Rossco?
Nah, it's good to be back. Came for round 0. Go Saints.
Go Saints. Go Blues.
And Lions.
Bilsy, who are you going for? You don't play in round 0. Which team are you jumping off this week?
Your team's bad.
I'm going for footy, boys. I'm so happy it's back. It's back. I'm glad it's back, and I'm glad to be back on the Swordplay potty. Can't wait for a huge year. Yeah, so good, boys.
Team previews coming up too, as well, mind you. Some exclusives as well.
Yes, so we're going to finish off with a bang because we've got the 5 days of Supercoach Christmas coming up. 6 team reveals, including 2 exclusive team reveals from past winners. We're going to get Joven on.
Content.
We're going to get Blake on. You're going to have the team reveals from all four of us, all the way from Sunday through to Wednesday or Thursday, whenever you watch it. But you'll have 16 previews. Or
I might have to
reveals.
take some time off
It's gonna be
work.
exciting.
So I can binge watch.
You're
these
gonna need
teams
you're
after
gonna need
this team reveal.
take annual leave to watch all these,
Wow.
but you'll be well worth it. It's the 6 team reveals. As soon as round 0 is over, our team reveals start. So
Let's go.
until then, take care. Hope you guys enjoy the footy being back. Can't wait for us to see Charlie Kerner kick 0 goals against Jacob Weathering. But until we chat together for the next time, see you guys. Peace out.
See you, boys.